So today we bring you the BlitzRCWorks Mitchell, and remember, we're not sponsored. What the heck is this packaging? This is pretty pathetic. Wow, if I stabbed any harder, I would have hit the plane. Okay, let's see what's inside. So, right off the bat, unprotected wing I could have damaged. We have a manual by HSD. Doesn't sound like BlitzWorks, but I could be mistaken in my translations. So this Mitchell today we got is a 1250 millimeter Mitchell at the price point of a really good price point overall. We bought it on a sale for $169 with free shipping. On average, it usually costs $259. It has two motors, of course, at 2612, which will easily power this bed. Yep. It has 6-gear, 6-channel, has landing gear, flaps, ailerons, elevator, rudder, and of course non-working bomb bay. It's a little sad. We may have to add that in the future. And here comes the nice, big old nice fuselage. We have fairly decent decals on it, not too bad. The alligatoring on the EPO foam's not too terrible. And one of the pods with a metal breech rack, which is very surprising. I was expecting more of a plastic. And a very puny shaft for the motor, which is a little sad. Those will get bent. Oh, and the adorable rudders. Which have... The decals aren't great on these. You can definitely see the mask on those a lot more than was on the fuselage. And the first time I've seen a carbon fiber spar that's square. I wonder how well this is going to hold up if she did get into the crash. And the final pod. And wow, those are small props. I was definitely not expecting, what prop size is this? Unknown prop size. I wonder if we hands up the props, they'll get bigger, but we'll find out. And rest of the hard gear. Ooh. They actually give us a Y for each motor, which is kind of nice. And then, and you can't mistake them, so you can't get positive, negative, and positive with an XT60, which I prefer because I mostly fly off at XT60. So, looking at this plane, especially with the props, some of our previous planes, its decals are nicer. We've had other Mitchells like from FMS, and it is now, I feel, a lot better. And one of the things we need to take a note is the structure inside the nose is a lot better than what it was on the FMS Mitchell. Now let's get into that fuselage. So we'll get you a nice close-up of the gear itself, but compared to a different Mitchell where this was a big plastic piece with very little foam, I feel like this is going to handle one landing kind of rough a lot better than our previous Mitchells we've had. And looking on the inside, we have a nice board to connect the wings with one plug-in. That is amazing. And so with a pre-installed box, it looks very difficult to get on from here, but what they've done for you as a nice strong magnet holding down this canopy so you can get to all this together. I just hope when we put the wing in, there's enough strength still with this removed. But overall, there's a large amount of space to put a battery. And the magnet, as somebody can hear, is a very nice click. You know this is not coming off. That is wonderful. So now we'll go ahead and start building this plane and get into the time lapse. So as you can see, we finished her up. There was a few interesting things on the build. Luckily we had the M3s here for a longer one in the tail. I could not get the stock one to work. This one was a little harder to get the screw started with. These guns are going to probably come off the first hard landing simply because of my CA job. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this plane. The decals, when we're further looking at them, are very nice. The foam is excellent. And in a lot of spots where this wing comes into it, there's paint on the inside, so you won't hide. The shadow is going to hide it very well, so you won't see a white glaring issue like we've seen on some of our other planes. I've had a weird issue trying to get the rudder on when the cloud assist popped up, but that's an easy glue job go on. The props are beautifully decorated. And looking at all the trim, she's already trimmed out fairly well. There's very little I needed to adjust with one aileron, and that's about it. So, time to see how her thrust is. And while this thing is going to go flying away on me. So we did do a check of this off the screen. We found out she's pulling around a little over 2 pounds, and she weighs just a little bit over 3. So we have a lot of good thrust. And we're going to have some flaps to help us come in for a nice slow landing. So overall, she should be fun to fly. So we'll proceed to look at her underside because there's some neat details beneath her. So with this plane, we have no geared doors, which is not that big of an issue, especially when we bought it on sale for $169. Even at $250, it's not that bad. The tires are nice and soft, which is a pleasant surprise because it'll help with the bouncing, especially having these flaps. And the part that I love about these flaps is at least it's a live hinge, but it's with plastics instead of foam, so I feel like these won't tear out that badly. And the gap here is not terrible at all, so a lot of air is not going to pass through there and defeat the purpose of the flaps. But the interesting part is how slow these retracts are. For me, it's beautiful. For other people, it's probably not their taste. But I prefer a nice, slow retract, and I believe these are going to be very strong. Because they seem like they lock really well going to either position. And as a reminder, the retract body is actually metal. I have not seen a metal retract body on this inexpensive of a plane, which is a good thing to see. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up. And just to review overall that I suck at gluing on guns, but overall let's review what this plane is. It's a 1250mm Mitchell from BlitzRCWorks. We bought it from Banana Hobby. Overall, we bought it out of our own money, not sponsored. We've been curious how some of these planes are, because they're very inexpensive. We bought it on sale for $169 with free shipping. Got here a couple days later, and overall, I'm impressed and disappointed in a few things. We have a bounded up servo back here for the elevator. The plug-in harness is wonderful, but what our lights are for these as well. The props are 7-inch. They look beautiful with their good decals. The foam is pretty good. Not a lot of alligator skin on them up close. And the hinge and the flaps are actually hinged, which is nice. Overall, I would give this plane about a 7. However, for the build part, I would knock it down to about a 5 because I did have to have the longer screw back here. If I didn't have that screw, she would not be ready to fly on fly day, which would be very disappointing because I am looking forward to fly this plane and see if she flies well or not. Until next time, see ya.